Hello, folks. All of you know by now, I believe I mentioned it several times on my channel, among all the silver dollars that we've struck as a nation, the trade dollar is very, very close to my heart, right? I portrayed my Trade Dollars Dansko album, but I wanted to bring to you a really, really cool key coin, a Carson City coin, the 1874cc. This is graded fine by the dealer that I purchased this from, very well-known, reputable dealer. And the mintage being just 1.3 million definitely does make this a key. So I wanted to discuss this coin with you, its particulars, its die characteristics, what have you, die marriages, and the history of this particular coin, and in general the trade dollar again, because like I said, the trade dollar is a very, very important coin in United States numismatics, and I feel that it really doesn't get the respect that it needs and deserves on the internet, on YouTube. So I wanted to bring this coin to you and, you know, start a dialogue with you, hopefully in the comments section. Let's get started. The 1874cc trade dollar has a mintage of 1,373,200,000, and it's from the Carson City Mint from our country in the United States, which operated from 1870 to 1899. Okay. In general, the trade dollar were the only U.S. coins ever to be demonetized to force the usage of the Morgan dollar, which had a slightly lower silver content. However, in the Coinage Act of 1965, we did remonetize it via Section 102. And they are legal tender without limit. Now, in particulars to the 1874 trade dollar, 1874cc trade dollar, our brother Q. David Bowers, our Jedi in numismatics, states that at the beginning, these were struck at a slow pace. We just struck 9,600 of them in January of that year. And then the production figures stayed below the 100,000 mark until August, when a little bit more were made. The peak production was in December, when we struck about 240,000 of these. And then, of course, we know that the final mintage was 1.3 million. Unfortunately, as numismatists, we don't like hearing this, but most of these mintages were sent to China, where apparently many were saved from the melting pot and instead were subject to the imprint of chop marks. Now, what chop marks are special characters that Chinese merchants would literally punch into the coin, right, as their identifying mark, claiming that, yes, this is a real coin, because so many of these were counterfeited and faked, that Chinese merchants wanted to have a way of stating that they verified that the coin was real. So they would put their unique characters to identify the fact that, yes, this is a real coin, and we call that a chop mark. My personal opinion on chop mark trade dollars, I don't like it. Many believe that the trade dollars with the chop marks does not affect its numismatic value. I'm about 50-50. I guess I'm on old school. I don't have any chop mark trade dollars in my private collection. All of these are nice and original as possible. Yes, some of them maybe have been cleaned or dipped, what have you, but they're all original trade dollars, and I just avoid chop marks because, to my naked eye, I don't like them. But that's a personal preference. The 1874 trade dollars were a familiar sight in the Asian market up until the late 1940s, as most other trade dollar varieties were of relatively higher mintage. In circulated grades, you don't really find them in worn grades. However, the dedicated collector will be able to find a good example. Hence me, I got a nice fine here. Mine is a strong fine 15, if you will. I wouldn't call it a high-end find, but it is a find without a doubt. So this is evidence of that very well. And Michael D. Michaels states that it had only survived auction appearances over the preceding 5 years, and he's only encountered one 74cc trade dollar in AU. Like I said, chop mark coins, 1874cc's are plenty and have always been. This issue ranks as the most available. The 1874cc is the year and mint mark that has the most available of chop marks. It's most common on the 74cc. In mint state, the 1874cc is one of the rarest in high mint state. Very few are known to exist. I've seen some at the Whitman show and an A&A show, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, and they're pricey. And you don't find them in high mint state grades because collectors did not save mint mark trade dollars. They were not in favor, and in any event, most coins were exported. Q. David Barr states that he's never seen an MS-65. And he's even certain that he feels confident that he doesn't think that there's one that even exists. MS-64 examples are rare, and estimated 10 to 20 survive. MS 63 is very rare. It's quite rare. He estimates that there's about 30 to 50. And they also, which is very true, they often have somewhat a satiny, almost greasy luster. And that's what I love about my specimen in my set, is this holds true. It is very satiny, and the luster is so unique. It does seriously, they described it very, very well, in my opinion. It does have a greasy luster. It looks so like boom right there. It's like an oily appearance, if you will. And this is, you don't just see these. In my personal experience as a private collector, I've seen other CCs, even non-CC trade dollars with that satiny, but typically you do see it with the greasy luster, and 1874cc is obviously no exception. Beautiful, beautiful coin. All 90% silver, as we know, and it contains 420 grains of silver. Love that coin. Sweet, sweet coin. I'm glad to own her. Now, what they're talking about here is the varieties, my friends. And I've discussed these varieties with you in depth when I went over this album with you. And you got to be very, very careful. This is what I mean. These coins are so highly counterfeited that you have to really, really know the coin. And hence, one of our rules in numismatics is buy the book before you buy the coin. So before I started investing some serious money in this set, there's a good reference out there that I'll try to remember the pin in the description box below. But in general, what you want to do is this is basically what you're looking at, folks. We all know that there are different obverse and reverse die pairing, die marriages that happen, right? And using this chart here, right, the 1874, all 1874s, independent of what mint it was, has nothing to do with the CC or what have you. Any 1874, these 3 years, Philadelphia, Carson City, and San Francisco, okay, in 1874 is the type 1 obverse and the type 1 reverse only. And what are they meaning? Well, the type 1 is the obverse here, and the tips of the ribbon point towards the left. So that's one thing you have to look at. The tips of the ribbon point to the left. And I'm putting it right with my fingernail is towards the left. And the type 2 is that's irrelevant. So what we do is you have to make sure that you have the correct die marriage, because if you don't have the correct die marriage based on this chart, I guarantee you it's a counterfeit. It's not real. And this is what they mean on the reverse, is the type 1. See, they said type 1 on the obverse and reverse. And the type 1 reverse is very, very important. Leaf does not extend between the 0 and the F. The other leaf points at the I in fine, and the berries are fairly flat and elongated. And this is one diagnostic that you have to check, is this. Of course, you want to put it through a sigma. You want to weigh it, all right? You want to study the coin with the naked eye and with a loupe. And you want the coin not to look mushy. You want details. You need to see that crispiness and how sharp the denticles are, right? Look how pronounced and detailed the denticles are. So, so important. The stars, look how beautiful the stars are. They pop off the coin. Now, this being a decent grade in fine, it's a nice original trade dollar. But be careful, my friends, because these son of a guns are so highly counterfeited. So this is what they're talking about here. And when NDC and PCGS and Q David Bowers give us these, we better take them to heart. Because like I said, the man's a Jedi in numismatics, right? He's our Adam Smith. So there you go. Basically what he's saying is this is what I explained here, okay? We're not going to go through all the minute varieties, right? Because only die-hard trade dollar aficionados who have thousands upon thousands of dollars would really focus on any type of serious variety. And we know that there's about 6 major varieties, basically most on the size of the mint mark. You can capture that, but for me, all I wanted is an authentic, real one, and then I moved on, and I'm done with it. Let's talk about how many dies were prepared, again, specifically for this year in mint mark. For the hours, we did about 17, more than 17, and the reverse about 17. And according to R.W. Julian, another well-known numismatist, 10 dies, 5 pairings, maybe roughly, were shipped before April, and 6 more pairs on June the 19th. And we did 6 more additional pairs on July the 17th. Hence the relatively understanding of the mintage figure, which we can quantify by the number of die marriages here. And then the next bullet point here, brothers and sisters, is talking about the distribution. We know that the final mintage was 1,373,000. And this is beautiful, that those that want to capture, you know, how many were struck basically each year and how many were delivered. This is important to know. Characteristics of the strike, how well the coin hits and strikes the coin, and how well the coin just turns out to be. Some are lightly or irregularly struck, particularly in the eagle's leg and claws and at the top of the eagle's dexter wing. They're also notoriously for weakly struck and oddly struck examples. So finding a nice, decent one, as I have, is a little bit tough. Usually they have subdued luster, similar to the New Orleans Morgans. There are known hordes of mint state coins. In the 1970s, World Coin Investments distributed a group of about 15. The 74cc is rare in high mint state grades, as most were shipped to China. And then this is just here, talk about, you know, the beauty of the trade dollar itself. On the obverse, we have our sweet Liberty. She's seated on a pedestal facing the sea, to her left, and she's holding olive branches surrounded by 13 stars. The lettering is Liberty, In God We Trust, 1874, the year. We know that our brother, William Barber, engraved that for us. And the reverse also was done by our brother, William Barber, and features an eagle holding branches with berries on them and arrows. And the CC is where you find the reverse is where you find the mint mark, CC. So it is like I said, these are very, very important coins. Not only in just United States numismatics, brothers and sisters, but in the world. I mean, when you go to a major coin show in the world, like the World's Fair of Money or Berlin coin fair, what have you, the trade dollar, not only among United States numismatists like me, but it's a serious coin. I mean, I love it. It's beautiful. It's sentimental. She's offering an olive branch as peace. She's extending her arm. I misspoke. I apologize. I got a little bit too excited. It's not really extending and offering like peace, like on the peace dollar, but she's offering trade. She's offering goods to trade with the world. And this coin was issued to compete with other trade dollars, like the British trade dollar, which we can also discuss on my channel, as I do have the British trade dollar, which competed with the United States dollar, with our trade dollar. Beautiful coin, beautiful coin. I do thank William Barber and the Carson City Mint for bringing us a beautiful coin for us collectors to enjoy. I encourage all of you to look into the trade dollar and see about getting a few, if you don't already. And I'm sure that you'll love the coin as much as I do, especially being a collector as long as I have. They're just beautiful, and I love these trade dollars. So much history and so much allure. It's cool, man. I love it. So it's not the lowest mintage among the CCs that we can see. I do have the 73 CC, which we can portray also as well, but I wanted to bring this to you just because of its beautiful satiny, oily luster and just how beautiful and historical this coin is. And the data and the statistics from Q. David Bowers and PCGS Coin Facts and Bowers Marina evidently states that this is a very, very important coin in the trade dollar series. So that's what I got for you today. Any comments, thoughts, suggestions, your thoughts on this coin? If you have one, how did you obtain yours? What your grades is? And be curious. So please leave that in the comment section below. Well, all right, my numismatic brothers and sisters, that's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. And I do thank you for watching. Be kind to each other. Take care of each other. And may God bless you all. Bye-bye.